Alright, we should be recording. There we go. We should be going live right now. I don't know if we're... Okay, we are live. Welcome. We're going to work on this drawing today. It is the Lamborghini, and so we're going to talk about the dark side. It's going to be, let me show you what it looks like here. Dual cam right here, so that's me. This is what I'm going to be working on. When I say dark side, I mean shadows. So if you look at, this is my original image that I created. This is a picture of the car that I took at the Edina car show in Edina, Minnesota in September. This is the best of show winner. This is the grand prize is this drawing. It's about $400 to $500 value. And today we're just going to put some of the dark things in there and the shadows, and we did the, up here we did the sky in a previous video. We're going to work on the dark sides right now and get that going. If you want to see more of this, go to madkstudio.com, but I use Prismacolor markers. So we're going to get going on this right away, and I hope you enjoy what we got going on. So let me get to my dual cam so you can see it. There we go. So first we're going to start out with the shadow under the car. Now I've got 70% markers, a gray, cool gray, and 90. I'm going to start with 70 because I'm just going to go in there and lay some of this color in. Get right to it, and hopefully you guys enjoy me for about a half an hour here, which is about how long my camera goes before it has to shut down, which is hilarious, but that's okay. So I just want to lay down, this is just the edge of the shadow, basically, tip of the back of the car. And I'm going to go to the fat side of the marker. These are not, need to be super perfect right now because we'll go back over them later at the end. But I like to put a cool shadow under the car when it's sitting on ground or bricks, which it is. So I'm going to go up in here. So for those of you guys that aren't familiar with markers, this is the way design was done for years and years and years, especially through the 70s, 80s, and 90s. These markers were developed for product designers, graphic designers, and I probably started using them in 1986, 87, and in 88, 89 is when I really started to become very technical with them. So as you're seeing, I'm laying down the shadow. So there's the shadow of the car. You can already see right there. The car now has weight, gravity. It's sitting on something. So with that, we're going to keep going. But like I said, I'm going 70 because I want to be able to get lighter and I want to be able to get darker. So I'm going to go in here in the inner wheel wells. And I like to do this stuff before I put down the colors of the car, because then it tends to blend into the car a little bit. The colors blend underneath. It just makes for a richer drawing in the end. So, and I do have right over there, I've got a big screen with this image here that you're seeing. Let's get that up here for us. If I do this image here, that image that you're seeing up in the corner right there is up on a big screen over here so I can look at it. Because what I did is I took pictures and I went into Photoshop, and as you can see in that original image here, if I hit this one on there, there's white behind it, and that white was another Lamborghini that was parked in front of the Lamborghini factory. And I just decided to take that out, put this one in there, and then I can use that as my basis for my drawing. So as you're going through here, this is going to be dark, this is going to be dark. Inside of the headlights is going to be dark, except for right in the where the actual light is. But this all gets pretty dark in here. I'm going to try and stay out of the lighted areas, which is this right here. I'm going to stay out of that, and I'm going to stay out of this. But the rest of this is basically, I'm just going to color that in as dark. And there's a lot going on in there. There's lights and different things, but if I get it somewhat dark right now, what I'll do later is 70% I can get a lot darker, but I can also get lighter if I need to with pencils. And on this side, we're going to do this. Now over here, there's kind of a reflection. So I'm not going to get dark on the top side. I'm just adding a little bit of darkness there and there, where you'd see a reflection of the building coming down. So we'll do that. We'll take care of that later. Now this whole section in here is going to be dark. This is all black down here. So we're going to go right into, I'm going to get over to my other screen and zoom in on the picture a little bit so I can make sure I don't get what I don't want dark, not dark. So we're going to go start. Actually, take the short end of this pencil, pen, whatever it is, whatever I'm working on. What is this thing? What am I doing? Who are you? Hey, welcome. I'm just going to kind of outline some of the geometry here before I go around it, because part of it does need to be a little bit darker than other parts. So we're going to add this darkness in here. This just reminds me of summer so much. This was a show at the end of summer in September at the Edina Car Show put on by Edina Rotary. We had a lot of sponsors, and we raised over $30,000 for charity there. And that's pretty cool. See these areas here, just the beauty of markers is if they're transparent, so once you go over them once, like if you make an X with a magic marker, you'll always notice that where the two lines of the X cross, it's darker. So by going in and laying this down first on the edge, you can certainly never lose the detail, because this will be dark in here like this, right? So bring that in. Let's see, I'm looking at the drawing over there. This is real dark inside of here. And then, oh, I looked like there's an emblem in there, and it's just the hand. So this is going to be all dark. This actually is light, this piece that goes just along here. That's the top edge. So I might even stay out of that completely, as it is the top edge. And this whole area right here is red, bright red, as you can see in the picture there in the corner. I'll put that back up so you can see what it is. There we go. You can see here this is all a big red piece that sticks up there. Now we're going to go down in here like that. I'm just going to outline and some of these little spars and pieces in here. Now, we're going to go dark. We're going dark. But as you can see, like right here, let me see if I can zoom into this so you can see what I'm talking about. You're basically able to see a little bit lighter, a little bit darker there. And that's what we're going for as we get this. And if you're wondering, this piece right here is 16 by 20. That is the size of it. Inches for you metric people watching. It's like a bunch of centimeters. I don't want to do the math in my head. You can do it. I suppose I should be doing this in the metric system just because, but I'm not gonna, because I'm American and that's just the way we do it. Go over that. Now there is a little bit of something in the middle here that's a little bit lighter. So I'm going to get really dark going up to it, like so. Oops. Don't drop the marker. I've ruined drawings doing that before. Now you can see that stays light there. And then the bottom edge is going to be pretty light too. I want to keep that light. And this actually wraps all the way around to the wheel, I believe. Oh yeah, so this goes black all the way right to here. Now, Just going to go right like that. There we go. Now this does continue down the side of the car, but there's some colored stripes up in here, so I'm going to stay out of that. This is super dark in here. Oh, look at me, I forgot to start my GoPro, guys. You'll hear the beeping. It's not a smoke detector. I've got a GoPro up here, I start. There we go. And my apologies for this. Put on time lapse, there we go. Get my up to wide, and we'll get that picture in there. All right. Now that's working. That's how I do my time lapses, and I forgot to do it to get started on this, so it's going to be all of a sudden, oh, hey, thing's half done. Anyway, it's not even near half done. So you want to go dark where the dark parts are, and this is dark in here. Kind of an air intake area. So I'm a one-man show here, but if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything, just go ahead and throw them in there. Be sure to, if you think this is fun and cool, make sure you like it, subscribe, share it with a friend, share it with 5 friends, share it with people that would hate it. I don't care. But as I'm trying to grow this channel in 2025, I'm adding a lot more effort into my YouTube channel here, so you'll see on this particular playlist, which is the adult coloring and tips and tricks for artwork. I'm just going to put a little color in there. This is where I'm going to add a lot of really cool content, a lot of lives. I'll do some other versions of what I'm doing here that will be more pre-recorded, but it's just fun to do some of the live stuff right now because I've got some new equipment that I'm trying. As you can see, I've been able to switch cameras and do that. I went with the Stream Deck, and I'm using OBS on this one. We're going to do some other live ones later where I'll be doing it live on TikTok and YouTube. I like the OBS setup because it actually records this too, so when I'm done I can record it. Now these wheels are black as well, so again I'm going to go in with a in between the spokes, kind of where it's the darkest, and add the dark colors there. And I'm just trying to get in there. Again, these are great markers. Now the center of this has these red lines and things in it. That's going to be done separately. And again, this is just 70%, so I'm going to go in now and color that all in over the top. Now as you can see, zoom in. So we can zoom in on that wheel pretty, whoa, look at that. I can zoom in on that wheel. You can see in here where it's darker, and I'll go back in and even make that a little bit darker in there. Make these wheels black. And then the other thing we want to do is we're going to darken up right here. And kind of delineate the wheel. Now we're going to do the same on the front, but on the front wheel, I'm going to back out a bit here. On the front wheel, we have a bright red caliper. And you can see the brake in there too. So this is caliper, and the rest of this is going to be black. So we're going to go in here like this. I'm just going to tidy up this a little bit. That's caliper, that's black. It's always confusing in this part of which is which. I'm sure the wheels are black. But you just kind of engineer it as you go along. And where there would be light and shadow and all that fun stuff. Now, there's a disc brake in there too, which we're also going to show. And that's going to be lighter than everything else at the moment. This is all the parts that are going to be in shadow. So I'll go in, and this is basically just blocking in some color that will be refined later with a lot of detail in it. A lot. That's all red there, and that's all red there. So we'll stay out of those two areas. But this will come up. And then right over the tire, right down the edge of that wheel. Now again, other than where it's going to be red, I'm going over everything. And that's going to give us, I'll zoom in here for you. You can see the different layers of darkness. And I'm just using one marker. I mean, I've done all of that right there. It's just one marker, so you don't need a ton of them. And this is just, like I said, this is 70%. And just to give you some contrast, so that's going over that dark part there one more time. So right here it's gone over a couple times. I'll take one of these 90% ones and put it in there so you can see how much darker 90% is. Eventually this will go almost all the way black. I don't usually go fully to black. I might on this one though, because it makes it a really cool graphic. But as I darken this up now, very carefully, and I drew the thing out in pen, so it actually acts as almost a dam for the ink, because it'll bleed out and it'll get to just where that pen line is and stop. But you can see there, that's a lot darker. You know, if I go in here, this will be really dark in here too. Same back in here. You know, where you're looking inside of the wheel. This is a dark hole here because it's an air intake. Same thing. Same up in here. I'm going to go a little darker. So what I'm going to do is make this the darkest. Alright, again, a little bit of that 90. And I'll just keep working through this to get darker and darker. Go back into the grill here a little bit. So this real dark area in here, that would all be in shadow. It's going to be very dark. And just under the lip of the nose, that's going to be really dark. Same under here, right under here is going to be super dark. And I always have a few of them. As this one, you can see it's starting to dry out. So I'll have another one that's not dry out. And don't throw away your dried out markers, guys, because they are really useful for other things. They're good at blending. I'll just whisk those colors over. Same with up here, where this is going to be dark. The darkest spots. And that shadow underneath things too. Just start to add a teeny little bit of detail in there. Oh yes, and then we'll put on that bottom edge there, just underneath the car. And the bottom of the tire would be pretty dark. We're going to add a back reflection on it later, but that gives you some of that idea. As I'm going through here, I'm just looking at what's dark in the picture, and again, you know, we'll just take a look at the image, and on the image you can see up in, let's see now. That's pretty good for darkening up the dark parts of the car. Of course, the windows are going to be dark. Inside of the car is going to be dark too. We're going to do something a little different there that I've got coming up. But now we can put some darkness up into the building, which again, I'm just going to use the 70% to add some of that darkness in there. And what's dark and what's not. And for this, we're actually going to go and get a straight edge, because I want to make sure that this stuff looks good. So I'm going to walk and grab a straight edge over here, you guys. Handy dandy trusty straight edge. And this is where I'll turn the piece a little bit, because you need to go all the way up here for this. And let's see, it's just under there. It's gonna go, I might actually go down a little bit lighter on this stuff. Let's see if we can get a 60. This one's rather light. That's my 70 warm. I'd like a 60. I know I've got a French gray 60. I think that's it there. French gray 60. There we go. So I'm going to go with a little bit of a different color for the... No, this is still cool gray. Where's my French gray 60? French gray 60. All right. So for the background, I'm going to go with a little bit warmer of a color. French gray, and we're just going to add some of the darks into the back of the building here. Again, I'm going to use a ruler on this. I usually don't use rulers on these things. I like to have kind of a more organic look to my drawings, but sometimes it just works good to throw some of the good straight lines down as a baseline to fill in between, right? So this is just some of the architectural members, and there's a flag here that I'm trying not to violate too bad. And as I'm going along, I'm pulling, and then I slowly press it down. That way I don't leave a big blob, like there's a blob right here I don't love. And then here we're going to go all the way over there. All right. So there's pencil down. I drew the thing in pencil. The background. There's no ink. There's no... Or there's ink, but I should say there's no... The background's pencil, because I don't need to block out the color to have it not blend into the next area. It doesn't really matter to me. But we're just going to lay down some of these dark areas. You can kind of get an idea. I mean, the longer you take, the better it's going to end up. And you do spend a lot of time doing these things in these areas. And this particular drawing isn't going to be done today or tomorrow, or maybe not even this week, but it will be done at some point. So we're going to do this for the dark areas of under the windows, the darkest. Architectural drawing is kind of fun. I've enjoyed that quite a bit over my years. I started drawing cars like this probably, 30, let's see, 30, boy, it'd be 30 some years ago now. More than that. Pushing 40. I guess 89 is when I started doing this kind of stuff. So let's see, these now we're going to have dark under here. I'll show you where I'm at here in a minute. We're not going to go much longer. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea into my little look into my process. And this is going to be all dark here. So, whoops, getting away of my own self. Here we go. Here we go. Right. Excellent. And then we're going to have some dark lines there. Yep. Now we can do some of the verticals. Again, they're going to be nice and dark. Try to have a lot of light when I do this stuff. Let's go down. So if you're looking to have any of this done, or you want to know more about how to do this, you want some critiques, some lessons, and some of your own work, boy, I'm happy to do it. You can just message me or email me, ken@maddkstudio.com. That's Ken, K-E-N, at maddkstudio.com. And I'm happy to look at your artwork, give you some creative pointers, and maybe you can improve your skills. And maybe, as often happens, as I see what you're doing, and I can improve my skills as we talk about art and creating things. It's really all I ever want to do. My day job is creating things and inventing things, and I've done that for many, many years. And it's pretty fulfilling. Cool place to be. A place called Ciro, CIRO, 3D.com if you want to see what I do there. It's all product design for motorcycles. So there we go. Let's just have another area here. Just like so. That shouldn't have gone through right there, but I did. I'll get over it. I'm a professional. I'll rise above it. So this, we're going to go these. We might as well darken these ones up here too, because these are all pretty dark. So you know that kind of bronzed, colored, architectural finish? That looks like that's what's on here. So we're going to go with something similar to that without getting super detailed. I just want to have enough detail. It looks like I didn't cheat the image, but not so much that it overtakes the car in front. But it is a cool area to be in, so. Bunch of windows in there, so again, if you just take that little bit of extra time at this point with the ruler, makes all the difference. But this is dark side stuff, like I was telling you. Let's see, that's going to go there. I'm matching up the perspective, one side to the other. I'll do a whole video on perspective if anyone's interested. I had one I've done in the past. It's up on in that same playlist I was telling you about, which is a playlist for this. Now I'm going to get in there and get some real darks in here. So we're going to throw some real dark in here now. Like right here. This is going to go up to there, and there's a tree. Alright, just like that. And this. There. So you can see I'm not being super careful. I'm not even staying necessarily all the way within the lines. I've got to continue those down underneath here too. We'll go back there with the ruler. Now this whole section right above the windows is light, and then this area here, this whole little stripe here is dark. So we're going to darken that in right now. Right up to the light flagpole, staying out of the flag itself because I don't want to get in there. But now we'll take this and bring this way. Now I'm running on matte board, and it's like drawing on a sponge, you guys, so you do go through markers, but it's a gray matte board, and I like that because it really makes the whites stand out. So that goes like that. Now in between all of these windows, like I said, it's that bronze kind of finish. right? So we're going to add that in there. And this is, like I said, a French gray, so it's a little bit warm of a color, as opposed to the cold gray that I use for the shadows underneath. And there's a reason for that. So where it comes into the bush, I just put some scribbles like this. Because when that's all green bush and stuff, I want it to be able to see through it. Very good. Same there. That's the top of a bush, the edge of the bush. There we go. Now these have to come down like that. All right, that gets us pretty close to being in the area. Let's see, this is all kind of a lighter beige color in here. That's dark up there. We're going to do something different up to the top. I can actually darken up these. And then I'm going to go just under that again. Put another layer of darkness just to show the layering of the architecture, the crown. We can go back in these later too with some more color pencils and some blends. But right now I'm just trying to rough in. Gotta stop talking, we do a straight line. There you go. So with that, zoom in a little bit. That's how I kind of get the start. So you can see how this is a browner, more bronze color up in here, as opposed to the cold colors down on the car itself. And that is absolutely just to, again, just show the different hues and the warm versus cool colors that you're going to see. And so I guess with that, we can say we're in a pretty good spot to stop right here. We're going to continue on. I'll probably make some more videos doing this thing. There's a, obviously the GoPro that's up there right now is going to do a time lapse. If you've seen, I've got a bunch of time lapse videos on there. Just go to the automotive art playlist on my YouTube page that you're watching this on right now, and you can see more and more of them. So with that, I'm going to pull up a chair and I'm going to hunker down right now and bid you guys farewell. And with that, I appreciate you watching, and don't forget to go to madkstudio.com, and I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe,